welcome to a quick tip Cinema 4D tutorial. In this tutorial we'll just quickly cover how to stop your mesh deforming and what a mesh is in Cinema 4D. So let's just jump straight in. So here we've got a sphere set up. I'll just quickly cover what a mesh is and how it's defined by its skin. So a mesh is a skin that makes up the object. So as you can see here, if I just go on polygons, each one of these squares are polygon segments that make up this entire skin. So if I just go to points mode, our wireframe is our skeleton to our mesh, so it defines what our mesh will do. So if I just edit one of these points and pull one of these points out on our wireframe, as you can see, I've now got like a little bump on our mesh, and that's because the wireframe is defining that. The more, if I just delete this, the more polygons, segments you have on your mesh, the less it'll deform when you're editing it, when you throw a deformer on it and throw it around. So if I just throw a deformer onto this sphere, a bend deformer, and turn the strength up, say I wanted to go to about 320, as you can see, the mesh itself is distorting. You get straight meshes. If I look at the wireframe, you can see why. See, you've got a nice straight line along here, straight line there, straight line there, straight line there, and it goes all the way across the model because of the segments. The segments don't align, like they don't. It's not dense enough. Simple as that. So if we go into a sphere and we up the segments to around about 114. You can still see some of the lines, but see how much smoother it is and how much better the mesh doesn't tear. And this is because the wireframe has more space to deform. So like I showed before, when I moved that one point and it made a really sharp point, and that was because there wasn't mesh around it to deform. So if I was just going to quickly make another example, and I use another sphere, and I leave it at 24, and remember the point was really defined. If I just go straight into editable poly mode, select one polygon, if I just change my select tool to soft selection, and I select one polygon, and I move this out, now this will look a lot less defined and a lot less sharp, because what I've essentially done is I've moved other parts of the mesh with it, making a less prominent point. And this works throughout most modeling things in Cinema 4D. So if I was going to make anything and deform anything on my mesh, I need to make sure that I've got enough points. This goes for text, this goes for abstract objects, it goes for arrays, it goes for anything, as long as it's not just a primitive object. So I've got render perfect switched on. I could turn the segments all the way down. This is quite a good trick if you're doing a lot of simulation work. If you turn the segments all the way down to a roughly spherical shape, 7 would probably be enough. It wouldn't roll around like a sphere, but it would act like a sphere with other spheres. So if I render that, I just turn GI off, sorry, I got a perfect sphere. This really helps with all the simulation stuff. So that's just another quick tip that I'm just throwing in there. This kind of concludes where I was going with this, but I'll make it a step further. So if I just take a sphere, throw it in a bend deformer on the sphere, this I'll just quickly show how to keep the initial shape and put the bend deformer on top of the object. So if I was to turn up this, keep it limited, maybe make this a bit smaller. So I've got a nice little what's it shape going on, and I'll up the segments, because as soon as you hit this button to make a mesh, editable mesh, what you're doing is you're sacrificing your ability to change the amount of segments. So you don't want to go too much, you don't want to go too little when you click that button. So when you've got enough, what you do is you right click the sphere and you set the current state to object. And what it'll do is it'll make a new mesh and it'll make it editable out of the old mesh points. So if we just delete this old sphere, and I got this new one here, which is the mesh now unified into a normal one without the bend deformer on it. So what you can do now is you can add other deformers on top of that mesh. Just for an example, even though it looks horrible. And then obviously you can add some nice materials and lighting. That concludes this full quick tip tutorial on how to mess with meshes and stop all the deforming when you're rendering out in your scenes. Thanks for watching, and bye.